Alright, hello everyone. This video is for our Foo Dog, and it's for kind of his whole body there, or, most of it. And I usually do this guy over here, who's turned at more of an angle. I don't know why. I just liked him better, so that's the one I go with. Alright, so I've got my paper, and I've got my willow charcoal, and I'm going to start in the top half of the paper, and kind of just off to the right just a little bit. So like here's the center. Yeah, here's the center. I'm starting kind of just over here a bit. And it's going to be drawing the head first and then the body. I'm going to do the outlines, and then we're going to go back and add some cool shading to them. So I'm going to start over here with a circle. And then I'm going to make a smaller circle inside. And then I'm going to do just kind of triangle shapes to finish off that eye area. Okay. And then I'm going to do kind of his brow bone. So I'm going to start over here, just a little bit down from the tip of the eye. And just a nice little curve. And a little kick up there at the end. And to give myself space, because I'm going to do a little bit more with it later on, I'm going to do that just a couple of times. Give myself some room so I don't put anything else right there. Okay, then I'm going to scooch over just a little bit more here. And I'm going to do kind of a smaller, almost like an upside down J a little bit. This is the brow for the side that's away from you. Okay. Next, I'm going to come right down in this area, and I'm going to add his nose. He's got kind of an odd nose shape, but I like it. It works. So what I do is I start kind of down here, and I start with kind of a circle shape for the nostril on this side. And then I bring it up. It's kind of make the number 6 in a way. And then I usually bring it on up here and give it a little pointish. It's kind of like the idea of the pug nose. Yeah, I know it's supposed to be a lion. I still like the little pointy nose. Seems a little more mischievous. And then curve it back down. All the way back down to the bottom. And then over here, I'm going to add kind of a half circle, a little bigger than normal, but I'm going to add a little half circle for the other nostril. Okay. And then I'm going to come up here and just kind of close the rest of that off right there. And I'm going to draw the top of his head. So he's got a little smaller bump right there for the rest of that bone. And then he's got just a nice curve back here for the rest of his head. Now, a nice easy peasy way to make a nice big curve like that is just to plant your wrist. Okay. And then just kind of rotate your wrist, your hand back and forth. And just follow the natural curve. Okay. So you've got a nice big arc. Now, he's got his ear over here, and it's tilted back because his head's kind of up. And I just use my kind of parentheses shape, I guess. So right about over here. Make that. And then that. He's got his ear leaning back. Next, I'm going to draw the top of kind of where his cheekbone is. And that's going to connect from the nose, and let me join up back here for these eyes. So, whoop, a little bit like that. Now the next part that I'm going to do is I'm going to do his kind of upper lip here, and his upper lip and top of his jaw. So I'm going to start back here, and I'm going to come out into an angle down over here, kind of underneath where his nostril would be. Okay, so really It's a straightish line. I say ish because me drawing a straight line's, you know, not going to happen. And then we're going to do kind of an arch, and it's going to meet up over here underneath this nostril. And it's not going to be like a perfectly even Roman arch because you're looking at this guy kind of sideways. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of bump it out a little bit here. And then I'm going to make another line that follows it. Okay. And I'm going to take that all the way back and meet up here as well. Okay. And now if you got a little bit of space right here between the top of that kind of lip area and his nose, just give it a little whoop right there. Close him on up. All right, now he's got teeth. Now if you want to make him a little bit friendlier looking, you don't have to add the teeth, but you know, I'm going to add the teeth. He's got kind of fangs that come down here and here. And then he's got teeth here in the front that are really just kind of little bumpies. Okay. The teeth that go here kind of disappear in there. They are just little bumpies too. You don't even have to accentuate those if you don't want. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is kind of right about in here, kind of almost at the corner of the eye, I am going to make that curve. Okay, so this would be the inside of his mouth that I'm working on. And so I'm going to bring that on around. And I mentioned before, I have a tendency to give my Foo Dog an underbite. My dog at home has one, and I just kind of do that a lot. So I'm going to try not to this time. It's like when I did this one. The fang is in front of this one, and so it pushes the mouth out, it pushes that jaw forward, and gives him his underbite. So to avoid that, stop back here and do your fang before you get to this one. And then you'll do kind of a little bit of an arch here, and you'll do the fang again before you get to the next one. Okay? And this way you won't have an underbite. All right, and then you're going to curve that little chin around right there. Now he's got a little bit of a bumpy right here because we're going to be adding the rest of his chin there. And then this is going to kind of follow on up and meet here. So we're going to go out and it gets a little bit smaller, and then it's going to curve and meet up. Okay. Now he does have his little roundy teeth here, all the better to eat you with. And he does have some down here if you want to put those in. If you don't want to, no big deal. Now he's got his tongue out, so for that I usually just do like starting right about here, just do a little curve shape for the tongue. All right, now I'm going to finish his jaw, and to do that I'm just going to come right about here and curve it on down. Okay. And then curve it on around to meet up around in there. Okay. Next, what I'm going to add are 2 areas for the mane. I'm going to add the backward ones. And I tend to do just almost kind of a very relaxed S shape, and then just a quick little back up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here by the ear, come out like that, see, kind of a stretched out S, and then back. And then I'm going to add a second one, come out, and then back. Okay. Next, I'm going to start right about in here-ish, and I'm going to bring it to a point. just close them off here. So that's the mane. Now for the body, I'm going to start kind of over here, up closer to the jaw, and come out for his chest, and then back in and down. Now I made mine a little bit big, so I don't have a lot of room for a foot. So I'm going to go ahead and draw it. It's just going to be a little bit stumpy looking. So for the foot, you just come out, you're going to draw some little curvy toes. Boop. And he's got claws, so just make like a little triangle for the claw. And you're going to do about 3 of those. Like I said, I didn't leave room for mine. And then just kind of bring that foot back up a little bit. Nice little curve. Okay. Now for the rest of his chest, we're going to kind of start a little bit of the way up and curve it around like so. And then over here, kind of, if you get those back teeth and come straight downish, that's about where I'm going to start for the other foot. It would be kind of a similar shape. And then back over here, I'm going to add a nice curve down, and that would be the back of that leg. And I can draw the feet on the other side if you want me to. Like I said, I just made him a bit too barrel-chested. To finish him off, I would come right about here and just take it off the paper. And then up here, I would just make sure he goes off the paper. Okay. Now, I've got my basic drawing for him, and I'm going to go back and add some shading. Now, the areas that I like to shade especially are the eye. I'll make that nice and dark. And I leave the little white part in the center open, and I'll take my smudge stick and work in small increments so it stays nice and dark, and kind of fill that in. And what I'll do is kind of with the leftover charcoal that's on my smudge stick, and so you just come out and add a little bit to these bits out here. Another place that I like to add quite a bit of shading is the nose. And so I'll fill him in. And I like to have some darker areas coming up from here and making that brow bone a bit heavier. So I will add some shading to that and carry that back just a little bit. And come back with my shading or with my smudge stick. The amount of shading and stuff like that you add is going to be up to you and how much time you have. I like to add little bits in the ears. He's got some little lines here for his whiskers. I like to darken in the tongue. One thing that I will show you is, especially on the mane areas, one thing that looks really cool is if you kind of fill it in, but not all the way. So if you've got some darker spots like that, and then you do kind of some nice sweeping smudges, you still get a little texture in there. It's not quite so flat or smooth. And then you can go back over afterward and add some darker bits and really highlight those. Okay. Like I said, the majority of what you want to fill in is up to you. I do recommend adding some darker smudges down on the undersides because you're showing that this is kind of in shadow. Okay. And if you want, you can use bigger smudge sticks or Q-tips or cotton balls, anything like that. I know I'm going a little bit quickly. It's so that this isn't a half-hour video. And then I would do the same back here. And then if you want to, just go back and add some thicker lines to really make those areas stand out. Okay. And that was an earlier one. That's my big one. So that's my Foo Dog, the whole thing. So have fun with it, however you do.